The cafe was bright with afternoon light, but the silence around her felt louder than any noise. She sat alone at a small wooden table by the window, hands folded tightly in her lap, eyes fixed on a phone that had stopped lighting up hours ago. Every few seconds, she glanced up, hoping to catch the reflection of someone walking toward her. But each passing minute only confirmed the truth she had already felt in her chest. She had been abandoned on her first date, left sitting in plain daylight where everyone could see, yet no one seemed to notice her quiet heartbreak. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us of our shared humanity, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who might need hope today, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Thread. Your support helps these stories reach hearts that need them most. She was deaf, and that had shaped her world in ways most people never had to think about. She had learned early in life to read faces, to sense emotions in small gestures, to feel the rhythm of people rather than hear their voices. That day, she had dressed carefully, choosing a soft green dress that made her feel confident but not too noticeable. It had taken courage for her to agree to the date. Past experiences had taught her that curiosity could quickly turn into discomfort, and interest could fade once people realized communicating with her required patience. Still, she had allowed herself to hope. The cafe bustled with daytime energy. Cups clinked, people laughed, sunlight spilled across the pavement outside. Families passed by, friends leaned over tables, couples shared quiet smiles. She could see it all, yet felt completely apart from it. The men she was supposed to meet had arrived late, glanced at her with a look that shifted from excitement to hesitation, and then left under the excuse of taking a phone call. She watched him walk away through the glass, his figure shrinking until he disappeared into the crowd. No message came afterward. No explanation. Just absence. Her chest tightened as embarrassment mixed with sadness. She wondered how long she should sit there before leaving, afraid that standing up too quickly would confirm what others might already be thinking. She stared down at the table, tracing invisible lines with her fingertip, trying to steady herself. She reminded herself that she was used to being misunderstood, but that didn't make it hurt any less. In the middle of a sunny afternoon, she felt smaller than ever. Then, something shifted in her peripheral vision. A movement that didn't feel hurried or careless. She looked up and saw 4 small figures approaching in a neat, curious line. They were identical in height and age, wearing bright yellow shirts, their steps slightly uncoordinated but full of energy. Behind them walked a man, tall and broad-shouldered, with tired eyes and a gentle smile that looked practiced, as if it had been shaped by responsibility rather than ease. The children stopped a few feet away from her table. Their faces were open, curious, unburdened by the judgments adults carried. They watched her closely, noticing the way she looked at them, noticing the stillness in her expression. One of them raised a finger slightly, as if mirroring a gesture he had seen somewhere before. The others followed, their small hands moving with innocent seriousness. She blinked, surprised, recognizing a simple sign she had used since childhood. A greeting. A silent hello. Her breath caught. For the first time that day, her eyes softened not with sadness, but with wonder. She responded instinctively, her hands moving gently, her posture relaxing. The children's faces lit up as if they had just unlocked a secret. They giggled silently, bouncing on their feet, delighted by the connection. The men behind them noticed the exchange, his expression shifting from curiosity to something deeper. Gratitude, maybe. Or relief. He guided the children to step back slightly, offering her a respectful nod. She could tell he was unsure, careful not to intrude. He gestured toward the empty chair across from her table, silently asking permission. She hesitated for a brief moment, then nodded. What harm could come from kindness when the day had already taken so much? As they sat, the cafe seemed to fade into the background. The children leaned against the table, fascinated by her hands as she moved them slowly, deliberately. She learned that they were quadruplets, full of energy and endless questions, raised by their father alone since infancy. He had learned sign language not because he was deaf, but because one of the children had once asked why some people talked with their hands. Instead of giving a simple answer, he had chosen to learn, and then taught them too. Time passed without her noticing. The weight in her chest lifted little by little. For once, she didn't feel like a problem to be solved or a complication to be managed. She felt included, seen, and strangely safe. The children's attention was pure, unfiltered by expectations. The man's presence was calm, grounded, as if he understood silence better than most people understood noise. She realized how long it had been since someone had looked at her without pity or discomfort. In their company, her deafness wasn't something that needed explanation. It was simply part of who she was. The afternoon sun shifted, casting longer shadows across the floor. Outside, people continued to pass by, unaware that something quietly extraordinary was happening at that small cafe table. What had begun as one of her most painful moments slowly transformed into something she would carry with her forever. Not because it erased the hurt, but because it reminded her that kindness could appear in the most unexpected forms. A stranger. 4 children. A shared moment of understanding without words. Near the end of their time together, as the men gathered the children and prepared to leave, she felt a strange mix of gratitude and ache. She didn't want the moment to end, but she knew it had already given her something priceless. Hope. Not the loud, dramatic kind, but the quiet assurance that she wasn't alone in the world, even when it felt that way. If this story is touching your heart so far, please let us know in the comments. Your words matter, and they help this message of kindness reach even more people who may be struggling silently. As they walked away, one of the children turned back and waved, fingers fluttering in a clumsy but heartfelt goodbye. She waved back, smiling fully now, no longer trying to hide her emotions. She sat there for a few more minutes, letting the warmth of the moment settle into her bones. She eventually stood up and stepped out into the daylight, her shoulders lighter than when she had arrived. The world hadn't suddenly become perfect. She still faced challenges, misunderstandings, and moments of loneliness. But that day had reminded her that being abandoned did not define her worth. That silence did not mean emptiness. That even after rejection, connection was still possible. Just before the end of this video, we have one special request. Please comment below with a single word that describes how this story made you feel. Your response might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. And if this story moved you, if it made you believe even a little more in kindness and second chances, please like this video, share it, and stay connected with Kindness Thread. Together, we can keep telling stories that heal, inspire, and remind us that sometimes, the most beautiful moments begin right after everything seems to fall apart.